Good evening, Lake Orion. Well, welcome to another episode. I'm your host, and I am Between Taorminas. Yes, indeed. It's Between Taorminas here on ONTV. Sammy, how you doing?
Hanging in there, baby.
Those of you guys wondering still, Ian Weatherspoon is still on probation, so he's not going to be here. He's been on probation for some time. So we brought the 00 trophy back. So the 00 trophy is back on Between Taorminas. Explain your reasoning for bringing the trophy back.
Well, because I think it needs to have a life. You know what I mean? The 00 trophy, it's been locked away in somebody's closet for 20 years, and then it needs to get a life.
What would they all say? What would they all say to you? What would they all? What would
It's been
all
locked away for 20 years.
What would they in Oxford say about you?
I don't know, but it's been locked away for 20 years.
What would they all in Lake Orion say about you?
It's been locked away for 20 years.
All right. So, anyways, let's talk about the Dragons this week. They went into Birmingham Seaholm, and it was not an easy game. It went to overtime. Explain what happened.
It was funny because Seaholm runs a pistol veer option, which is it's kind of very similar if you watch Georgia Tech play or Rochester Adams plays. It's this type of offense where quarterback, running back, fullback. It's kind of like the wide receivers usually not involved as much in the veer offense. It's very similar. You got to have an athletic, mobile quarterback to run this offense. You got to also have a good running back to run this, and also a good fullback to run this offense. So what happened was in this game was Lake Orion ended up, I don't know what happened to the offense in that game. Maybe a little too conservative play calling, but it was 14-14, and Seaholm had a chance to win the game.
It was 14-0 Lake Orion in the first quarter.
Yep, it was 14-0 in the first quarter. But I'm saying to you right now, it was during the second quarter. It was scoreless at the end of the first quarter. But
yeah, right.
But you look at what happened in that game. Back to what I was saying, with 10 seconds left to go in the game, Seaholm was having a chance to kick for a 20-yard field goal, and Jack Slayton, ended up Joe Slayton ended up blocking the kick, send the game to overtime. Dylan Frankton scored on a power play. Drive to score a touchdown to give Orion the lead, 20-14. And the defense showed up late. They had a sack on the first play, causing a loss of yardage. And then the second play, they had a fumble, recovered it, and won the game. So it was a crazy game over there. But I don't know if it should have happened that way. But either way, the Lake Orion found a way to survive this week. It's survive in advance.
Well, I mean, we're not in playoffs, not yet, but I mean, it's you obviously got to clinch to get in, and
right.
But Orion is 5-2.
Right.
Seaholm, do you think that this was their best football they played?
I would say yes because of how they played. Of course, it was their homecoming game. Seaholm runs a very complex offense. I know Lake Orion has not seen this offense ran against them. I know the only other team that's run it's been Adams.
And we've only seen Adams once.
It's very difficult to stop a veer option because you don't know. There's a lot of misdirection involved. You have to. There's so many different mindsets to how a veer option works, and it's very difficult at times to stop this offense. And and it's also time consuming. So that explained. It kind of had a lot of that Wall Lake Central feeling at times from 11, if you remember that game.
Yes.
So kind of
Romeo from 13.
But when you look at that game, I just think that this group, especially defensively, found a way to survive, and it's survive in advance mode right now for this team. And right now
they're not in playoffs.
They're not in the playoffs right now. You got to get number 6.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a win. it's being 5-2 is a lot better than being 4-3 because because basically
you're 4-3. You got to win both your games.
Yeah, you got to win both your games. You know, but now it's kind of that. But you love to win both games, and I think but it gives you that option. It gives you a little bit of freedom. If you lose, but if then you have to win next week.
Lose, then you have to win next week.
Right, then you have to win next week. But if so it's kind of like that and that side of things.
This week, it's Orion's homecoming.
Yep.
Orion is in a league title race with Clarkston and Southfield Arts and Tech. All three teams have one loss in the league.
Mm-hmm.
This week, Orion plays Clarkston.
Yep.
If Southfield were to beat Oxford, they would clinch a share of the league title.
Right.
Orion and Clarkston is essentially for the league title.
Yep.
So Orion has had a mindset of having a chip on its shoulder, feeling disrespected. No game feels any more like that than this week. Against Clarkston, a team that has beaten them since 2010.
5 straight times.
A lot of pundits are picking Clarkston to win. They're all hyping Clarkston's running game, particularly Michael Flugel.
Yep.
Do you think Orion likes being considered the underdog and the team that has the chip on their shoulder? It feels a lot like we're talking about the game against Southfield.
It's just very similar to the game with Southfield because, when you look at what Clarkston brings, of course, JT King, their quarterback, he's had a magnificent year. Mm-hmm. I mean, especially not only from a passing perspective, but also from a running perspective. Then you look at Joe Cantu, of course, a very good running back, backing up Flugel. And then, of course, you have Michael Flugel himself. Michael Flugel is one of the reasons why Clarkston is doing very well. But you got to also give their offensive line a lot of credit, for making Flugel who he is. I mean, because if you want to be a good running back, you got to have a good offensive line. And, and you got to credit what Kurt Richardson's done is he's had good offensive lines, in the past over at Clarkston. And the Clarkston defense, let's not forget, this is a defense led by Nick Stallworth, who's a very good linebacker. He also plays fullback. I mean, so this is going to be a challenge for the Dragons, especially when you're a team that not really much of a passing team. You're like a lot of run. You're like a running team like this team is. You can't be one-dimensional in this game. You're going to have to throw in this game if you want to beat Clarkston. And Clarkston's been very susceptible to the pass. Just ask Oak Park, of course, when they played Oak Park, their quarterback, of course, their backup quarterback threw 2 touchdowns. Corey Graham, he did 2 touchdowns against Clarkston. So they are very susceptible to pass. And then, of course, in their other losses, Southfield Arts and Tech, Sam Johnson III, he had 2 touchdown passes in that game against Clarkston. I mean, they are very susceptible against the pass, and that's how you're going to have to attack Clarkston is through the air.
So my question is, do you think that it could be done? Do you think can this Orion team finally get over the loop and beat Clarkston, or is Clarkston going to get a road win?
I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I mean, I really believe this will be a low-scoring game, a defensive game. Both teams, Lake Orion in the last 3 games have given up 14 points each game. Mm-hmm. And in their 3 wins, in their winning streak, they've only given up 14 in the last 3 of the 4 games. In their 4-game winning streak, 14, 14, 14. Whereas their offense has scored.
We gotta go to commercial. We'll talk more about this when we come back from commercial on Between Taorminas on ON TV.
Hello, I'm Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard.
And I'm former Detroit Red Wing Joe Koster.
We'd like to remind you to practice safe boating by knowing the laws regarding water safety.
Please make sure you have the necessary safety equipment on board and be sure all of your equipment is working properly before leaving the dock.
And the probability of being involved in a boating accident nearly doubles when alcohol is involved. Always check local weather conditions, and if you notice darkening clouds, play it safe. Get off the water. Have a safe, enjoyable summer on the lake.
When I'm in Lake Orion and I want to catch up on sports, I watch Between Taorminas.
own a Habitat home?
I love working on my Habitat home.
Soy dueño de una casa de Habitat.
My neighbor is a Habitat homeowner.
Being a Habitat homeowner has changed our lives.
My mortgage payment for Habitat is less than what I paid for rent.
Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County currently has homes available with mortgage payments lower than most rent payments. If you or someone you know needs decent and affordable housing, call 248-338-1843 or visit our website at habitatoakland.org.
Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. Sammy, how you doing? We were still talking about the Dragons a little bit. We didn't get a chance to a projection. What is your projection?
I like Orion in this game because I really think that if you attack Clarkson's corners, I'm not sold on Clarkson's receiving core. You know, they had a touchdown last week against West Bloomfield. I just think if it's going to be a low-scoring game, but if Orion can somehow attack Clarkson in the secondary, I think the Dragons will win this game. And I think John Marshall's got an arm to do it. But the key is going to be can this offensive line and their offense go up against and shut down Clarkson's defensive line and linebackers because Clarkson pretty legit on both sides of the ball. So it'll be a good game. I think it's going to be a very good game. It's going to be a very close game. But I think Orion finds a way and wins this game.
Obviously, a lot of pundits are picking Clarkston. League championship. Do you think that the winner of Lake Orion and Clarkson wins the outright league championship, or do you think Southfield beats Oxford?
I think Oxford beats Southfield Arts and Tech because Southfield Arts and Tech's going to have to do that travel up from 10 Mile and Losser all the way up to Ray Road. And when you're dealing with the I-75 construction there, going up there, and then you're dealing with the M24 construction. So I think it's going to be a time-consuming problem for the Warriors. Southfield Arts and
They got to really leave early.
And they got to really leave early. So, and I don't know if that becomes an issue. Then it's going to be an issue for the Warriors. But also, let's not forget what Lake Orion did against Southfield Arts and Tech, which just ran it down their throats. And Southfield Arts and Tech did not match it up very well. So I think Southfield Arts and Tech's defensive line has to come to play against Oxford. If they do, then I think Southfield Arts and Tech's got a great chance. If not, Oxford is going to run the ball, time-consume football, keep that offense off the field, and they're going to beat Southfield Arts and Tech.
All right. Changing gears a little bit, I want to talk about you think Ian Weatherspoon's happy his beloved Cleveland Indians are in the
Yes,
AFC
he is.
South?
They're playing the
Why?
Toronto Blue Jays.
Why?
Because here's what Ian's going like right now. Woo! Yeah! Yeah! Cleveland rocks! Yeah!
Knowing, ladies and gentlemen, knowing this, for the record, Ian Weatherspoon does love Cleveland. We have evidence that proves. He says he doesn't, but there's evidence that proves contrary.
Yes, there's evidence, yes. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to be the Cleveland Indians. They're going to take on the Chicago Cubs, for the World Series. Can you just imagine that? That would be so awesome. Cleveland versus Chicago. Ian Weatherspoon's favorite fantasy. Wouldn't that be lovely?
Yeah, that'd be as good as finding Steve Bartman.
Yeah, I know where he lives.
You do?
Yep. I've already hired Zach Hilbers to help me.
Oh, the West Bloomfield defensive backs coach.
And also girls basketball coach at West
Yeah,
Bloomfield.
I know.
Yep, I've hired him, and I've hired Kellen James.
The Stony Creek girls basketball coach.
Yep, and Kevin Kopech.
Oh, Kovac wants to find him?
Yeah, we all want to find Bartman.
Oh, jeez.
Yes.
Okay, but back to your point. David Ortiz's last game. What do you think about his legacy in Boston? David Ortiz is Boston?
He had a great career. He's going to have his number retired there.
Oh, no doubt.
I felt real sad for him to leave this way. It was very unfortunate for him to leave this way. And I'm heartbroken and saddened by it. And end of the day, he's a great baseball player. Big Poppy, never be forgotten in B-Town.
So you've got the Cleveland Indians versus the Chicago Cubs.
Yep. World Series, baby.
Speaking of hockey season starting back up.
Oh, yes.
Doesn't that start up this week?
Yes, it does.
And you're saying the Dallas Stars are going to win the Stanley Cup again.
How do you know I'm going to say that? Because I'm telling you right now, Bill Reese, Bob Bridges, Jim Manzo, Eric Jennings, they're all getting ready for hockey season, and they're all going to bow down to Victory Green.
I don't think that's going to happen, but
Why?
continue.
Because I'm telling you right now, Dallas is Tyler Benn, Jamie Sagan. Tyler Sagan, Jamie Benn.
Ooh, Sammy, for goodness names. I guess doing all those shows has got you exhausted.
Jason Spezza. I mean, you look at this team, you know what? The player I'm going to watch is Yuri Hudler. He's going to have a heck of a year, especially because I think
he's the former Red Wing, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going to have a big year. You know what I mean?
Why?
I'm telling you, he's playing on the second line of the Dallas Stars. In the last few years, he's had to play on Calgary's top line and Florida's top line. So you think about that.
There's more pressure being.
Can you just imagine a line we have Spezza, Sharp, and Hurler? That is a perfect second line. My God. Stars are deep. They have size on defense. Now, everybody says about the goaltending it's concerning. I disagree.
Their defense and goaltending aren't very good.
No, their defense is fine. Their goaltending is a concern. I think Bob Bridges knows this.
Bob Bridges is the girls' freshman coach.
Bob Bridges, he needs to bow down before me. The Stars are going to be, it's going to be on a renaissance. This is going to be a renaissance, and the Dallas Stars are going to be back to where they are, number one in the West, and they're going to win what's rightfully mine, and that's the Stanley Cup.
Okay, so basically you're once again saying the Dallas Stars are going to win the Stanley Cup again.
Even over Nashville, over Chicago, St. Louis, Colorado. And then, of course, you got San Jose, who I think is a fraud. LA's a fraud. And Anaheim's definitely a fraud.
What would you consider the Wings?
They're frauds.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you right now, this is a hockey team that's overrated. They're overhyped. They're overpriced. And, of course, yes, their last year at Joe Louis Arena. I understand. But this could be the first year that the Detroit Red Wings are not making the playoffs. And I'm telling you that right now. I don't care if Bob Bridges calls me or not, because I'm telling you right now, the Detroit Red Wings are not making the playoffs.
So you want to go on camera and say it?
I will go on camera right now. Put that camera right there. The Detroit Red Wings are not making the playoffs.
Oh wow! So you just told our viewers that their beloved hockey town's not making the playoffs.
They are not making the playoffs.
Okay, so basically, what are you most excited for this NHL season? You think Pittsburgh will make the NHL Stanley Cup Finals again?
Hell no!
Okay.
Tampa Bay is going to be in the finals. It's going to be the Stars and Lightning Stanley Cup Final.
You think it's going to be the Stars and Lightning?
Yup.
Oh my goodness gracious.
One of our longtime friends, Nicole Renault, will be really happy.
Yes, she would.
I think it's going to be a Stars and Lightning Stanley Cup Final. Stars win the Cup in 6 games.
All right, we'll be right back with Between Taorminas on ONTV.
Hello, Oakland County. This is Sammy Taormina talking OAA Now. In it, we'll talk various stories ranging from the state to Oakland County teams affecting the OAA. Catch us here on OAA Now.
Hello, Lake Orion. It's Anthony Taormina, co-host of Between Taorminas. I want to let you know of a new show called History Now. In it, we're going to talk about global, national, and political events that occur in our lifetime. We're going to also have guests and also have co-hosts as well, and also plenty of surprises. Catch us on History Now here on ONTV. Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. Sammy, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there with baby Nana here.
Let's talk about the Detroit Lions. Hey, let's look at positives here. You won this week in fantasy football in the ONTV Fantasy Football League.
Yes, I did. 93-92 over Kevin McCormick. You know what I mean?
Very good coach.
Very good freshman coach. Very good person, by the way. You know what I mean? You know, I'm up on a 2-game winning streak. ever since I changed my team name. And, of course, it all started with beating John Atwater right now, so I'm very excited right now. I've won both my games by combined 5 points. You know
For
what I
those
mean?
of you guys who don't know John Atwater is one of our producers at ONTV. He does a great job producing. Thank you, John.
Yep, so I'm telling you right now, it's a reawakening, and it's going to be here, and it's going to be here to stay.
All right, the Lions. The Lions beat the Eagles again. It seems like the Lions have a history of beating the teams they're not supposed to beat, and the Lions are beating, and Lions lose.
Had not been for Darius Slay, the Lions lose that game. Then we're back to...
You sound mad.
Then Bubbles doesn't win that game. You know, I'm telling you right now.
You sound
they
mad.
are lucky to win that game over the Philadelphia Eagles, who were coming in undefeated.
Yeah.
And yet, I started Carson Wentz on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
And look what happened to me.
This
is all the Lions' fault. I could have won more by more than 1 point had been for Darius Slay not picking off Carson Wentz.
Oh, wow. So Carson Wentz, though, you have Carson Wentz on your team.
I started him.
Oh, jeez.
I started him. But the Lions, though, emotional win for this team. Are they back? Hell no!
They got a homestand, though.
Yes, they got the LA Rams this week.
They got the Rams this week.
And, of course, the Lions' defense, I know, is 26 defensively. That's not good.
So you got Gurley. You got Gurley, the very good running back.
Oh, yeah, Todd
who
Gurley.
hasn't had a good year.
He had a good week last week, actually.
Yes,
Todd
he
Gurley did. Other than that, when I look at the Rams, you know, the receivers, Brian Quick, of course, got Tavon Austin. Quarterback, oddly enough, I'm surprised it's not Jared Goff. It's Case Keenum. Case Keenum's actually done a pretty good job with that team. And they did come off, and they do have a win over Arizona, so let's not forget that.
That's a good win.
So this is a team for the Lions that they got to be very careful with. And for the Lions, they don't know how the word careful is.
Right.
Because this is a team that I think is sad, frightening, and evil. That's what
Dallas Cowboy news. Jeff Heath, potential backup kicker.
Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Jeff Heath, you know,
Great man.
Great man, yes. Great man. I was a little surprised that the Cowboys considered Heath as their backup kicker. I know they saw what he did against Sterling Heights Stevenson back in 2008.
At high school.
But
that was lovely.
I told you, it wouldn't surprise me if he is the backup kicker for the Dallas Cowboys, and he is. But Dan Bailey did play last week.
Yep.
You know, and he did have a nice game. But when you look at the Cowboys season, everything goes through Dak Prescott. He's played very well.
Tony Romo's hot seat.
Tony Romo, I don't know. Well, it's going to be very interesting when he comes back week 8. You know, because now are you going to start Romo? Or are you going to go with Prescott? Mm-hmm. Because right now, Dak Prescott is keeping the Cowboys right now afloat. Now,
they're winning games.
So week 8, very interesting decision here going forward. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a big...
Kaepernick starting for the 49ers
Oh
outside of the issues with the social injustice. Are the 49ers desperate?
They're done for. Because I'm telling you right now, Kaepernick...
Not what he used to be.
He's not what he used to be. Especially when you look at what... He has not been the same since Jim Harbaugh left. Mm-hmm. And then you look at what Kaepernick's done. Of course, we know about his social media injustice things. We know about that. But
talk about the player.
As a player, when he came out of Nevada, I didn't think he was that good. Mm-hmm. You know, his passing ability is not very good. He's known to be a runner. He's a very good running quarterback. Very good pitch option quarterback. A lot of people compare him to Russell Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Russell Wilson's a better complete quarterback than Kaepernick. But even so, I still think when you look at all the mechanics, yeah, I understand that Kaepernick led San Francisco to the NFC Championship game. But
didn't he have a
Russell
Super Bowl
Wilson,
appearance?
No, he didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, he did. Did he? I think
Yeah.
he went to the Super Bowl, yes. And had a Super Bowl appearance. But Russell Wilson has won a Super Bowl. You got to look at, if you want to compare Colin Kaepernick as the player, compare him to Russell Wilson. Who's had a better career? Russell Wilson. By far. You know, because both like to run option.
Mm-hmm.
Both like to run the, and you think about it, with Kaepernick, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of defensive linemen or defensive ends that are going like this right now, wanting a piece of Kaepernick right now. For what? For what he's done. You know?
Well, I mean, he has cause to stir, obviously, but I mean, obviously, just how healthy is he going to be? That's going to be the question.
I wish he'd get a haircut, though. I wish he'd get a haircut. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Cut that fro off and make it.
He looks better with short hair.
He looks so much better with short hair. I mean, like, you know, when his appearance, when he puffs up that hair, it no offense, it's not good.
You don't like his long hair look.
I don't like his long hair look, and I'm telling you right now, but Kaepernick is a player. You know, comparing him to when he was with Russell Westbrook, when he was with them under Jim Harbaugh, he's not the same player with Jim Harbaugh than he is
not
right
Russell
now.
Westbrook. We're not talking Pistons.
No.
We're not talking
No.
Any final thoughts going?
We got to go college football a little bit.
Oh, let's
here.
go briefly college football.
Yeah.
Michigan ran up the score, or did they not run up the score?
He ran up the score against Rutgers. You know, I've seen blowouts, but
Hey,
who's clapping?
anyways, Michigan, 78-0 over Rutgers.
Poor Rutgers.
Give their second, third, fourth string, they went 100% against Rutgers.
Poor Rutgers.
That's all you got to say. Michigan State lost again to BYU.
I'm not pressing the panic button yet on Michigan State. Who's clapping? Let's State be a 1-3. I mean, they got a quarterback controversy. I understand that. You know, Tyler O'Connor, you know, he's not gotten the job done. Then he got Damian Terry. Damian Terry, who I'm surprised. Where was L.J. Scott in this game? I mean, like, a little surprised where he was at, you know.
Michigan State's dealing with injuries.
They've got a lot of injuries right now. But
Michigan seems to be playing
Riley
well.
Buller right now is hurt, but I expect him back in the next couple of weeks. They got a big one Saturday with Northwestern. I think they're going to win that game Saturday against Northwestern. And Michigan right now has got the bye week, you know what I mean? So we'll see where they're at going forward. I still think Michigan's going to be in line for 9-3 season.
Any final thoughts?
When you look at Michigan,
Make it brief.
When you look at Michigan, they've turned the corner a little bit, but Michigan State, everything's fine. I'm not pressing the panic button yet, even though they're sit 2-3.
All right, that'll do it for this week's episode.
West Michigan, very good team right now.
Yes, they are. We'll be right. Well, all right, this does it for this week's episode of Between Taorminas. See you soon, Lake Orion. Have a great night.